What's up, y'all? Welcome back. We are going to talk about some more of the rarest rap 45s in my personal collection. But before we get into that, let me just say this to you guys that this episode is being brought to you by It's a New Jack Thing. Now, what is that? That is a radio show hosted by Dave Miranda, and it brings you the greatest 80s and 90s New Jack swing hits, all of the classics from back in the day. You can check it out every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Venus Soul for It's a New Jack Thing. That's right. You can find that on the Central City Radio app every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Make sure you tune in. Get the mad hits that Daryl D used to play in the clubs religiously. Trust me, you won't be sorry. Dave Miranda's the host. Tell him Daryl D sent you. Alright? Now, let's talk about some 45s. Okay, I've been through my collection a little bit more. I pulled out another 10, 45, some really, really cool stuff from my collection. And like I said, this is stuff that's rare to me, stuff that got a little pricey over the years, and just things that I've picked up here and there. Some of the stuff I picked up just to collect, some of the stuff I picked up strictly to drop on the turntables at parties and whatnot. And here's another 10. All right, let's get started on this. So the first one I want to show you, this is really, really cool and really rare. I've never seen another copy of this. I don't remember where I got this from, but this is Eazy-E, We Want Easy, and then Easier Said Than Done. When was the last time you seen this 45? Probably never. Is that a beautiful thing? Or what? Kind of looks like a promo with a white label and all of that. Check out the back of the picture sleeve. I don't remember where I got this. I wish I did, because I would love to tell you the backstory behind that. But I just don't know. I don't recall where this came from. But yeah, this is, any kind of Priority Records or any kind of NWA stuff on 45 is just bananas. Look at Dre and Ren, man. That reminds me of the concert. The concert that they talked about in the movie. That's what that picture reminds me of. Because Dre, Yella, and Ren started off that show. That's a whole nother video. Let's keep going. Now, this is probably one of the more modern records as far as the rap stuff. This is Prodigy, Keep It Thorough. So cool for this to be on 45. This came out in 2015. I don't remember. I think I don't know if I bought that as soon as it came out or a little bit afterwards. This is a reissue on Get On Down. This wasn't from, way back in the day. But, it's got the vocal and the instrumental on there. Interesting interesting story about Prodigy. I remember, was it 2015? 2014, 2015. I don't remember the exact time, but it was way before this record came out. My homeboy Oxygen, MC Oxygen, DJ Oxygen, Gone Digging Oxygen, he hits me up one day, and I'm like, yo, what's good? And he's like, yo, I can't even remember the city he was in. He was in some city, and he was at this record store, and he was like, yo, man, Prodigy's here. I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, man. And he's got Mobb Deep Shook Ones Part 2 45s. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, man. he's got them. Like, how much are they? Because, you know, I'm a big time flipper back then. Like, I was just slinging records like crazy, especially on eBay and Discogs. And I'm like, how much are they? He's like, $20 each, which is pricey for way back then. This was, you know, 2014, 15, somewhere in there. So I was like, all I had in my PayPal account at the time was $20. I mean, I'm sorry, $60. And I said, yo, man, I'm finna send you $60. Grab me 3 of them. I'm finna PayPal you the money right now. He was like, cool. And that's all I could afford. You know what I mean? Was 3 of them, because that's all the money I had in my, you know, I had cash on me, but that's all I had in my PayPal. So this is the record that we're talking about right here. All right. So when he was done with his trip and he shipped these out to me, I got them. And so the first thing I started doing was I started researching this record online. And trust me when I tell you, I don't know how many records Get On Down have put out at the time, but I had never heard of them. I didn't know anybody that had ever heard of them, and they had no online presence, like none. No website. They weren't even on Google. There was no information that I could find about this record. So, me being the flipper that I was, I just put one on eBay, right? And I think I started it at $10. Well, obviously, nobody knew about this record. Nobody knew about Get On Down. I'm sure they did, a lot of people out there did the same thing that I did in terms of researching the record and seeing where this record came from. And they probably didn't find anything, just like I didn't find anything. So this record went nuts on eBay for me. Now keep in mind, I paid $20 a piece for these. So I kept one, this one, and then I had 2 for sale. So fast forward a week later, and I sold one for $120. Yes. And then because I had 2, I hit up the second highest bidder, whose bid was, I think, $119, something like that, for a second chance offer. And sure enough, they accepted the second chance offer. So basically, I spent $60, kept a copy for myself, and roughly made $240, which was fantastic. I just wish I would have had 50 copies of this. And if it wasn't for my PayPal at the time, I would have told him to buy as many as possible. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And I had to tell you guys that story just because I was showing you the Keep It Thorough 45. I had to throw that in there because I thought that was pretty cool, and I made some dough. And also, man, I can't imagine, because this was long before it came out. I'm talking about anywhere between 6 months and a year. I mean, it was, Prodigy had these way before they hit the record stores. Trust me when I say that. People was going nuts. Where'd you get this? You got any more? Blah, blah, blah. No, I don't have any more. I should have, if I'd have known, I should have just sold my copy. Anyway, that was a nice little money grab for me at the time. So I had to share that with y'all. Here is one of my favorite songs, rap songs in the world, by the queen herself, Roxanne Shante. This is Queen of Rocks. Let me tell you a story, yes. How I got to be so fresh. It happened one day, you know, when I was sitting upstairs listening to the stereo. This is so dope. Molly Mall, Roxanne Shante. It goes for a nice little price. This is dead stock, mint condition. Still got the old sleeve that's kind of going brown and was once white. I've never actually played this, and I don't remember where I got this from. I wish I did, but I don't remember where I got this from. But this is great. Let's see. Oh, let me show you this one. This is J Live, The Day I Fell Off 45. And if you take a closer look there, you see that it says Hip Hop Site. Now, Hip Hop Site was a record store in Las Vegas. And from what I understand, it started off as an online store. I guess the owner, whoever had it, just started off selling records out of their crib or whatever. And then it blossomed into a brick and mortar record store. And I'll never forget the first day or the first time that I went in that store while visiting Vegas. This is back when Vegas actually had some really decent record stores, but I think they're like incredibly dry at the minute. Anyway, man, if you've ever been to Fat Beats, and you know, Fat Beats is, you know, legendary. I don't have to get into it, but if you've ever been to Fat Beats, let me tell you, Hip Hop Site was even better. Was even better than Fat Beats. And the reason why I say that is Hip Hop Site was like Fat Beats with an additional huge section of used records. So Fat Beats only sold new records. This place was new and used. And they had just as many, actually more used records in the store than they had, than they had new records. And so it was like, you felt like you were in Fat Beats when you were in there. I'm sure they took, you know, some notes on that. And then they had a upstairs, and the upstairs was all of their used records. And it was, everything was up there, man. It was crazy. But they would have, I would go in there and they would always have something special, something that I'd never seen before. And this was like one of those, you know, one of those records that I've never seen this record anyplace else outside of that store. And I'm not sure where it came from. This is a promo. I don't know if you, I don't recall if you had to buy something to get it or if it was a part of some special promotion. I don't know. But yeah, I just remember that I would see stuff like that in there. So they had the new records downstairs, the used records upstairs, and then they had opened up a whole nother section to the left when you walk in, to the left of the store, a whole nother big room, and it was just all 45s. It was just filled with 45s. And I don't know why, but eventually they just closed down. But this store was incredible. If you loved Fat Beats, you would have absolutely went crazy for hiphopsite.com. Alright, let's keep moving. Here's one. Now this is another one that's very popular. EPMD, You Got to Chill. This is another one of those records that when I finally went through my collection, I found out that I had 3 of these. Now, as I mentioned before, 45s, for the most part, especially my rap 45s, when I would come across them, I would just buy them just to collect. I'd buy them, bring them home, file them away, and never look at them again. And it wasn't until way later until I actually started going through and playing them. But this stuff that was on Sleeping Bag and the Cold Chillin' 45s, those, just money. I sold the other 2 for a crap load of them. I think both were over $100, maybe $150, something like that, way back then. And this was one of them. I know that I picked up at least one of these at Eastside Records, and it was like $1 or something like that. But yeah, so this is my last copy, mint condition. Another mint condition one because it's never been played. This actually looks like an import. This might be a UK import because it's definitely got that. No, it says New York on here. Oh, this is a promo. Wow. Even better. Promo copy, EPMD, You Got to Chill. We already know what time it is with EPMD. Here's a cool record. This is Phase 2. The incredible. Phase 2. Uh, I never knew about this record until after I moved out here to Phoenix, and I knew somebody who had a copy of this. And I wanted this record just based off of the cover. I think this is like the most New York cover you could have. This is really really dope. Um, so it took me years before I came across the 12-inch. But I did finally find the 12-inch, and at the time, for the longest time, I had only known Phase 2 to be a rapper. Now, when he passed, I just decided to look, you know, for this record pretty much before they all just disappeared. And there was like one. This was like the only 45 that I found online. It was $9, and I'm glad I was able to snatch it, real quick. I thought that for sure, him being who he was, uh, these things would have like skyrocketed. But there's actually a few floating out there, and they're not too bad. I think they're somewhere between $20 and $40. But nonetheless, this is a French pressing. I think the French pressing is the only pressing that they had. It might be another pressing from some other European country, but there were no U.S. pressings of the 7-inch on here. So I was really happy when I got my hands on this. I got to actually meet Phase 2 in New York some years back. He's a good friend of a buddy of mine, and we ran into each other, and we all went and broke bread, and it was cool. And he told me all about his life throughout, his hip hop journey, and it was really cool to spend some time with this brother right here. So yeah, very glad to have this in my collection. Moving right along. Now this is a white label, pretty much a bootleg, and this is it says Spotty Oddie Edits. And I want to say, I hope I'm saying this correctly. I think I bought this at Grand Avenue Records right here in Phoenix, and I'm pretty sure that's where I got it. And this is actually this is like what's that Outkast song that's got like the title that's like this long? The jazzy song. That's what this is right here. So yeah, this is a cool and fun record to drop at a party, because everybody loves Outkast. Everybody loves that song that I will never be able to pronounce, no matter how much I try. But I was able to get a copy, and it's like the same song on both sides or whatever. So yeah, that's what's up with that. You might spend a few bucks on that one. Here's check this out. This is a cool record right here. This is a record by somebody named Ray Boogie. Now the reason why I'm showing you this, and I'm showing you this for two reasons. Number one, this is like a straight graffiti song. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but on side A you got Take the Train, but the cool one is a song simply entitled Spray Paint. That's the B-side. So there was a guy who was doing some street promotions, not Ray Boogie, but somebody else, and I got to tag along with them as they were hitting up different record stores in New York City, and just kind of pushing this record and selling this record hand to hand. And I even got my hands on the test pressing of it, which is really cool. I wanted to find some more information, but I could not find any information online about this guy or this record. So that's kind of why I wanted to feature it, on this episode, and put this in my rare rap 45 category. All right, we still going. I got two more to show you. This one is cool. Now this is Far Side running. What's interesting about this is a nice blue vinyl pressing. Now this came out in 1995, but later on in 2005 it was reissued, and the reissue is pretty much the same as this. It didn't change too much at all. And then in 2015 it was reissued again, I believe, for Record Store Day. This is actually the 1995 pressing, so that's the OG right there. Now, in 95, I had no idea this ever existed. I didn't buy this until, man, it must have been 2000, somewhere between 2007 and 2010, somewhere in there. Now, here's what's cool is I bought this at the Beat Swap Meet in Los Angeles, Chinatown. Robbie, what's good? Beat Swap Meet, I gotta make a video and talk all about that one of these days. But Beat Swap Meet was basically it was a record show that basically exploded into like a giant hip hop festival. I mean, 10,000 people used to come out to this thing every 3 months in Chinatown. And you're talking about just massive, massive amounts of vinyl. Dealers, no filler, no junk down there, just the cream of the crop. Well, there is, I wish I could remember this brother's name, please forgive me, but he used to manage, or maybe he still does, the Far Side. Tall, kind of looks like me, like bald, chocolate skin, tall brother. And I used to see him because whenever Far Side would come through Phoenix, they would do a TMC show, and I used to, we all used to chop it up back then. So I was very familiar with him, and we would chop it up at the Beat Swap Meet. Anyway, he had a booth set up, and he was selling all of this Far Side stuff and other stuff from Delicious Vinyl. So they had like a nice amount of these there, and that's where I picked this up. So basically, I bought this directly from the source, and me, once again, being the reseller and the flipper that I am, I bought that first time, I think I bought like 4 or 5 copies, 3 or 4 copies, something like that. And then the next time I went up there, I think I bought another 2 or 3. But I was selling these bad boys for $60 a piece, And there was even a few of your favorite big time DJs actually bought some from me. But yeah, beautiful song. Who doesn't like running? Who doesn't like this? Come on. But so that's cool that I got to buy this pretty much directly from the guys. All right, we're down to the last one I want to show you on this particular episode. I didn't even know this existed. I kind of found this just digging. This is Cell Therapy by Goody Mob. Cell Therapy? Are you kidding me? On 45? And then they put Soul Food on the B-side. Come on. How cool is that? Goody Mob on 45 from the first album? Are you kidding me? That's what I'm talking about. Pick this up at People's Records in Detroit. I remember when I found it, I was like, wow, I think, what did they want for this record? I think they wanted $25, and they just gave it to me for 15. I think that's about right. It was definitely $25. I think I paid 15 for it. Something like that. But I was like, oh, I was so happy to add this to my collection, because I know there's not a lot of these floating around, and they're not cheap, and They're very rare. I don't know anybody. Personally, I don't know anybody who has this 45. So you know I had to pick this up. You guys have to go to People's Records in Detroit if you are about that vinyl 45 life. All right? So, that's all I have for you on this episode of some of my rarest rap 45s in my collection. Once again, the show has been brought to you by It's a New Jack Thing. Yes, that's Dave Miranda's show on Venus Soul, and you can catch that every Wednesday, 6 o'clock. Don't miss it for the best 80s, 90s, New Jack Swing music. That's New Jack Swing rap and New Jack Swing R&B. We got it all right? Make sure you tell them that Daryl D sent you. Again, you can find that on the Central City Radio app. All right? I'll see you there. Till then, peace and love, y'all. Y'all be safe.